Alrighty then. Hard for me to believe, but this video has actually been 3.5 years in the making. I just looked it up on the computer, and it's about an expat named John. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, and by the way, there's been a lot of new subscribers that have joined recently, so I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you. Tell you that you're appreciated and welcome to the Old Dog family. And if you're new, you're not going to have a clue as to who Expat John is. However, if you've been with me for a while, you're fully aware of who Expat John is. And so in this video, I'm going to take a real short period of time and just sort of bring the new people up to speed, a little background on Expat John. And then I'm going to let everybody know whether or not John ever made it back successfully to the Philippines. So here comes my little video. Well, okay, as I said in the little introduction there, I'm going to give a real quick synopsis as to who the hell Expat John is. And I actually had to look up some dates in the computer because I couldn't remember him exactly. But I first met John in person in July of 2020. And he had come over here to the Philippines and had a finite amount of money. He did not have an income stream. He was too young to collect Social Security. I believe he was 58 at the time. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm close. And he had planned to make this finite amount of money. He was going to try to make it last for 4 years. He was also planning to work online once he got over here to supplement his income so he can make this money stretch. Unfortunately, two things didn't work out for John. Number one, the working online never happened. He gave it his best shot, but it was a swing and a miss on that. And about 1.5 years into his journey here, he unfortunately, due to different circumstances, ran out of money. And in the process of that, he had met a woman and he fathered 2 beautiful twin daughters. However, after the babies were born, the money was exhausted and he was kind of out of options. I had lost track of John. But when I heard about his circumstances, I reached out to him through a friend. Him and I got together. And when I saw him, I was just shocked and dismayed. He was skin and bones. He was hungry. He was frustrated. He was emotionally beat up, physically not well. And so I gave him a little bit of money, bought him some food. And I said, you know what, brother, we could do a video and kind of tell the world about your plight here. And if nothing else, it would be a good video to shoot across the bow, a warning shot across the bow of guys coming out here that think they can make X amount of dollars last for so long and maybe save them the agony that you went through. And so he said, I'll think about it. And I said, okay. And about 2 or 3 days later after that conversation and the meal, he said, you know what, Paul, I want to do that video with you. So we did the video, and he explained in that video, and I'll put a link to all the videos that we did together in the description box, how it came to be that he went through the money, the trials and tribulations that he had with his female companion, the trials and tribulations that he faced with her in-laws and the barangay they were living in, and this, that, and the other. And we tried this and we tried that. And after the video was released, a remarkable thing happened. There was this huge influx of views on it. And people began to form together. And not me, but the world, people on this continent, here in the Philippines, and every other continent that you can imagine, actually began to chip in and help John. They either donated their time, their talent, or their treasure. And I have to look at my notes here. It was in April of 2022. I first met John in July of 2020. By April of 2022, he was in this condition of being broke and not really having an exit strategy. So it took 4 months, and the community came together. And long story short, for the new folks, John got put on a plane and went back to America because he realized that he had to go back and get to work and make a living until he was eligible for his Social Security. And it was kind of like pulling teeth to get him on that plane. And it's not because he didn't want to go to work. It was not because he was afraid that he needed to go make a living. It was because he just flat out did not want to be apart from his family. He is deeply, deeply in love with his children and his significant other. And he's a helpless romantic. So that being said, after 4 months of the community pulling together, John was eventually, we were able to put him on a plane, send him back, and there was a receiving team that had volunteered in America to meet John. And they had an apartment lined up for him. Actually, not an apartment. It was a room, boarding kind of house situation with a bunch of other guys. And a gentleman named Roy and several others that deserve a shout out, but I can't think of their name off the top of my head. Robert, and it'll come to me. Anyway, these guys got together, and when John first got there, they got him kind of hooked up with a place to live and took him around and got him a bank account, set him up with like some food in the apartment, showed him where he could go and take advantage of some of the programs that are available, food pantries, things such as that, and kind of got him into the system. So John, to his credit, was there, I think, less than a week. He was settled into the room that they had arranged for him. And he actually found a job, a part-time job, when he first got there, working at a restaurant. And I refuse to talk about any money amounts or numbers or anything, but he was making more than minimum wage, but not much. And he wasn't working full-time. But he was working as much as he could. My hat's off to him. Within 7 days, he took the first job that he could get. He started to earn some money. And from that point forward, not only did he pay back the money to the guys that had rented him the room and all that, but he continued to pay his own fair share of his rent and did his best to accumulate some money on the side. That happened for a period of time, and then the good news is he was not happy with where he was living, and he found another place that was more amenable to him. Again, a room, very small. He never did anything for himself extravagant. He slept on an air mattress the entire time that he was in America. He found a good job at a good company, working in what he described to me as a clean room. And God love him, he wore a hazmat uniform, or suit, I should say, during the entire time that he was at work. And he was doing some form of quality control and inspection on his feet for 8 to, I think, 12 hours a day. The exact details escape me. But he worked hard, and he showed up every day. And he had had a stroke while he was at work during the time there, and he had had a stroke previously while in the Philippines. And you know what? He was down for the count for, I think, 4 or 5 days, and boom, he just went back to work. He was focused, laser focused on getting the mission accomplished. While he was there, he rode a bicycle to work. He was in Wisconsin, and he was driving a friggin' bicycle through the snow to work. Good news is, work was about a 10 or 15 minute trip, but that had to feel like 2 hours in the driving snow, but he did it. And so every day that he could, he went to work, showed up, got paid, went home, slept, ate, rinse, repeat, did it again for the better part of a year, if not more. Sound familiar? Kind of like our lives in America, right? Go to work, go home, eat, sleep, get up, do it all over again. While he was doing all of that, when the income got better, because he got a pretty good hourly rate. Again, I won't disclose it. That's his business. But when he told me, I said, well, that's pretty damn good. And so he did that job, and he faithfully sent money every month here to the Philippines to his family, to his significant other, it's not his wife, and his 2 little girls. And it was, again, I won't talk numbers, but it was, in my humble opinion, more than enough money to cover her needs. Food, rent, medications, doctor visits, things that little kids need, infants need. And I think she had a helper. He had moved her into a different apartment that was cleaner, safer environment. He did all that online. Speaking of online, he stayed in touch with his family diligently the whole time, I think via Facebook Messenger or Skype. And he just manned up and did what he had to do. So he was not only sending her money, but he was also saving his money once again. And so every month he would send her portion. He would keep his portion. I think he actually gave her more than he kept because he wanted to make sure that his partner and the kids were well taken care of. He put her above himself. So that again is commendable. Then the magical day came, and he learned that you could apply for Social Security 3 months before it was time to actually claim it. And he went online or went to the office, one of the two, because he was in the States, and he was able to do that. So he got himself set up so that when his birthday, which I happen to know was December 1st, came around, he would qualify for Social Security. And what do you know? He went down, I believe, to the brick and mortar office, talked to them once his birthday arrived, verified, validated, and restarted the process of receiving his Social Security. So to me, that was huge. Again, I'm not going to talk numbers, but the amount that he received for Social Security, I feel, is more than enough for him and his family to live on. That's always subjective, right? Anyway, he also had a savings account, a safety net, which we always try to preach that if you're coming over here, please don't come over here with Blipkiss and the if-come money. Just make sure that you have a safety net and a guaranteed income stream. It doesn't have to be Social Security. It could be a pension. It could be investments. It could be rental income. It could be whatever. Or you just might have millions of dollars. I don't know. But so that every month you know that you will have food, you will have shelter, you will have medicine, the basic needs of life. And for the first time, John had accomplished that. He had set himself up so that he did not make the same mistake he made the first time. He came over here with a lot of hope previously, with a fair amount of money, but it just wasn't enough to get him through the 4 years. So, it was actually August of 2022 that he went to America and started this whole deal. I wrote that down too. So it was 4 months between the time that we did the video till he finally landed in the States and was received by the team there. Fast forward another year, he had saved, again, a sizable amount of money, bought a ticket, and about 3 weeks ago, this being February 10th or 11th, something like that, of 2024. He landed here about 3 weeks ago. And since he's been back, he has been reunited with his family. He's been getting reacquainted with his kids. Of course, he's renewing his relationship with his woman. He has purchased transportation. He has sought out and found yet a different apartment for all of them to live in. And I asked him, I said, hey, John, did your Social Security check hit the bank yet? You know, because I'm always paranoid that something goes wrong with that. And he goes, yeah. He says it hit, and you know what, Paul? I haven't even touched it yet. I still have enough money in my pocket to keep on keeping on. So I said, good on you. He also did a lot of the things that he hadn't done prior, such as example, he set up a communication form. He got Magic app so that he could make phone calls. He set up a transfer service to bring his money over here. And so the good news is that John did what he needed to do, stayed in touch with his family, kept them monetarily stable while he was gone, did his best to stay connected to them both verbally and visibly online. And when he landed, they spent some time together. They went back to the apartment. He decided that apartment was not a proper situation for his daughters and his woman. So I believe 3 days ago, he has moved. I haven't talked to him since. I've only talked to him a few times since he's been here, and I have seen him once. His next mission is going to be to get his daughters set up on his Social Security and make them citizens, which he can do via the embassy. He actually went to a little embassy thing that was here a few days ago, and he didn't get it completed, but at least he knows what he needs to do, and hopefully he'll be able to follow through on that and get the increase that he deserves for having his daughters. And that is that. John did not want to, I asked John, I said, do you want to come on the channel with me? And he said, not really, and I don't blame him, because he took a massive beating in the comments when we did the original video. And he's a big boy, he could take it. But you know what? We had his significant other, a Filipina, on the channel also. And there were some just horrible comments that were made by some horrible people. And he's very reticent to go through that again. So for the first time, since I can remember, I am going to, fair warning here for those of you that want to get snarky, I'm going to restrict the comments on this video, and I'm going to filter them. And so you can feel free to comment. But if you're going to say something really derogatory or mean or nasty, especially to a Filipina, I'm just going to delete it, and it'll never make the front page. Usually I take the worst comment about me and put it up on top, because I don't care. But when it comes to other people, I really want to safeguard their privacy, number one, and I also want to safeguard their feelings and their emotions, and I think that is fair, and I'm sure that you would agree with me. So the moral of the story here is this, is that this is a much bigger thing than just John. John, at the end of the day, is another human being who found himself in a situation that was untenable and unfortunate. The real story here, I think, is not John. It's about you. It's about those that reached out and decided that, you know what, I am going to step up to the plate and I am going to help a fellow human being. So if I could, I would give you the loudest clap available. I'll have to give you a golf clap because you guys are the ones that made this happen. You're the ones that were able to take a guy when he was down and help him get back up on his feet. And kudos to him, because once he was back up on his feet, he didn't just sit around and feel sorry for himself. He actually got up, did what he had to do, made the money, showed up at work, did it when he didn't feel like it, sent it over, made sure that she was supported, stayed in touch, and he's now back over here. And maybe in a year from now, John will be in the mood and he'll want to come on the channel and we'll do a reunion video. But for this much, I just want to again thank the community that has been so supportive of someone that was in need. And I wish that the whole world could learn to work that way. All right, kids, that's the update on John. He's back, he's fit, he's fed, he's healthy, he's with his family, he's working on getting that all processed. It's been a whirlwind month, maybe less, that he's been back. And so let's just keep him all in our good thoughts and prayers. And I will talk to you people in the next video. Thanks again, guys.